My name is Georgia. I have been doing rescue for about 4 years now, actually involved within volunteering and things like that. All through high school, I had an interest in working with animals and things like that, and I happened to meet a lady that ran a rescue here in Cameron back in 2013. I had a senior book that I had to complete, and I did a paper on her and her involvement within the animal rescue community within Cameron, because Cameron doesn't have very many people to help animals. And so back in October of actually 2016, I had volunteered from 2013 to 2016, and I decided that I wanted to start my own rescue with my own paperwork, my own name on it, all of that. So I went from working with Safe Haven Animal Rescue to making my own rescue called GiGis, Purrs, and Pawz of Cameron, Missouri. I've been doing this ever since I'm foster-based, which means that I make sure that I have a foster family to take the animals before I actually am able to take them in. So my job, I take them to the vet and I get them all of their shots, and I get them any medical care that they need, and a lot of times I get ones that have absolutely nobody. That's what I go for, is ones that are sick, injured, homeless, and strays. And so they don't have anybody to take care of them, and we get them up to the vet and get them all the medical care they need, get them rounds of shots, things like that, and then we place them in foster care. This is Twitch. He is one of 4 cats that I got back in October. So I've had him for quite a while. When I got him, he was covered in ringworm, which is quite a task to get them over. He had to have sulfur dips 2 times a week, which is an awful smell. It smells like rotten eggs and it stinks up the entire house, and they have to air dry, so the sulfate in it turns them bright yellow. So they're bright yellow kittens, soaking wet. They hate it. But that's basically one of the ways that they try to get rid of ringworm, and they had it bad. Like, their hair was like all gone basically. He had patches of really, really scaly skin, and so as you can see, he's like completely grown back. He's real fluffy, but he's a really sweet boy, and he has found a home. He's just staying with me until we can get him to that home. But he has overcome ringworm, and I believe at one point they had all gotten upper respiratory infections also that they had to be treated for. So he's come a long way, but he's a really sweet cat, and all of his little siblings have found their homes, so he's awaiting his. And then this is little Piper. Just got her last week, maybe the week before that. She was doing circles in a cul-de-sac because her eyes were completely matted shut. Her nose was completely matted shut because she's so young. She's about 1.5 months old. She's got an upper respiratory infection really bad, so we're treating her with antibiotics and eye drops, and she's coming along pretty well, but she's pretty much the reality of what we deal with on a daily basis with rescue, because we take in the ones that are super sick, the ones that need the medical care that nobody can afford to get them or nobody wants to deal with it, which with her it's as simple as giving her a tiny shot of medicine in her mouth once a day, and then giving her eye drops twice a day. So it's not that big of a deal, but a lot of people don't understand that it can be that simple sometimes, so they turn it over and call me to come and get them for rescue. So she's a good example of what we deal with quite often. So this is Liesel. She is one that I got a Facebook message about, a little kitten 3 weeks old that had fallen off of a bed due to people being irresponsible, and she was no longer able to use her back legs. Which when I first read that message, I was like, oh Lord, I'm gonna take her to the vet and they're gonna put her to sleep. That's what's gonna happen. Well, I take her to the vet and they do an x-ray on her, and she has one eyeball that's closed because she's kind of sick. She wasn't getting the protein, the nutrients, or anything like that that she needed. And so we did an x-ray on her, and no broken bones. She had no broken bones, nothing, like no shattered pelvis, nothing at all, but her little legs, she wouldn't use them, and it appeared that she couldn't feel anything in her back legs, and we just didn't quite know. But my vet basically told me, just keep doing what you're doing with her, because I had to bottle feed her every couple of hours because they took her away from her mom to give her to me to get her the vet care she needed. So thank goodness she responded well with her being bottle fed, and she grew up, and we kept taking her back to the vet every couple of weeks just to monitor her legs. And at one point, she laid on her leg weird, like crossed it over herself because she couldn't feel it, I suppose. And her tendons in her leg have contracted to where her leg can no longer bend back and forth and just stick straight out. She has to wear a diaper because she cannot get in and out of a litter box. She has control of her bowels and being able to urinate, but she has no way to get in and out of the litter box without getting it all over herself and then dragging it through her room. What I tell people is I need you to take care of them as if they're one of your own. And all my foster families right now are people that I actually know. I don't have just random people that foster for me. Right now, I have like 4 or 5 foster families that do a really good job with fostering, and I'm super proud of them. So without them, I couldn't do it because I don't have a building, I don't have a facility, I'm foster based only. So I rely on the foster families to make all this happen. Most of the time, the money comes out of my own pocket, which is why I have found, I think, is why a lot of people don't do this, is because it can be exhausting. And I work every day, Monday through Sunday. I work at a winery, I work at a group home with special needs, I work up at State Farm, I dog sit on my downtime, I cat sit for people, anything I can do to make some extra cash for the animals.
She's definitely very kind, very patient. Sometimes the patience is even more with people than with the animals, because it's hard to, if everybody doesn't think the way that you do about animals, it's hard to convince them that this actually needs to be done. But yeah, she's very caring and she's very passionate about what she does, and I think that's the most important thing, is passion, because she does everything she can for it.
I constantly get people messaging me, can you find a home for my dogs? Can you find a home for my cats? Can you take this cat that's outside of my house? This cat just had kittens and they're all feral and wild. Can you come get them? And it's like, I can't. Like, unless if I have a confirmed foster home, I can't because I don't have room. The cats don't have a chance down at the pound. They immediately put them in the gas chamber as soon as they get there. It's very rare if a cat is able to get out of the trap that she brings it in. It's got to be absolutely friendly, like not aggressive at all. And the whole thing is when you bring a cat, any cat, into a pound of 24 barking dogs, what's gonna happen? That cat's gonna freak out. And you know, whether that cat is actually truly scared or truly wild, we never know. They'll never know because they go straight into the gas chamber and they get rid of them. The dogs have puppies for parole in Cameron, and they have an outlet. An outlet as in they have somewhere to go. Once they hit the shelter, they have somewhere to go. The cats don't have anything. And I'm working on getting a prison program. Chillicothe's trying to start one. Just like Puppies for Parole, but for cats. And once they start, I'm going to try to get Cameron to do the same thing. That way, you know, this little one, once she gets healthy, if I didn't have a home for her, she could go down there and that would be her foster home. And they would just house them and care for them just like they would their own pet. And that's another reason why I can't just not do what I do, is because they don't have anything. Like, there's nowhere, there's nothing. And normal people don't have the extra $100 to $200 to get a cat everything it truly needs, and especially if it's sick.